And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. I'm super excited to introduce our next speaker. Now, Miss Blessing Fort Ike is someone that I've had the pleasure of knowing for over 17 years. And she is an educational consultant, a Montessori trainer, a homeschooling mom, a child care specialist, convener of Montessori Matters on YouTube. You really need to go and check out her channel. It's full of wisdom. A lot for you to glean, especially if you're a mom, a new mom, someone that is just coming up, that have children within their early years. You want to glean from that YouTube channel. It's totally amazing. All right, I want us to welcome Miss Blessing Fortuke, who is also a pioneer member of our community. You know, she was there from day one and started building with us. All right, want to give her a train up a child welcome 2023 welcome. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much again for always honoring our invitation when we call. We are totally grateful. Thank you. So we have spent so much time. We're so sorry for starting at this time. But we just had little network glitches. So over to you, Ma. Thank you.
Thank you, ZOB, for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here in Train Up the Child conference. It's always really exciting. So I will just go straight to the matter at hand. I will be speaking on how parents can augment their children's education. How parents can augment their children's education. Education is a beautiful way to influence one. It's a beautiful way to influence our children. Anybody you want to influence, you can use education to influence them. I will just give us a definition of what Webster Dictionary said about the definition. Webster Dictionary defined education as the process to persuade, to condition to feel, believe, act in a desired way. This caught my attention. That means you can use education to confront somebody in your own desired way. That means education can be used to determine how someone feels, how someone acts, and what they believe. What an awesome thing. What a strong influence education have on whoever he or she is educating. As a parent, as a teacher, what influence, great influence you have on the children you are influencing. You can determine how they feel. You can determine how they act. You can determine what they believe, what they think through education. Is that not awesome? Nelson Mandela said something about education. He said education is the most greatest weapon, powerful weapon to change the world. He said it's the most powerful weapon to change the world. And I agree with him. Why? Because that is one reason I got into the educational industry. I wanted to see change. I wanted to change the people around me. I wanted to see change in the society. I wanted to see change in the community. I wanted things to be better. I was tired of seeing different things, complaining. I said, okay, I need to change. But how do I do it? It dawned on me that education is a tool to do it. That is why I went into the education industry. That's why I'm into the education industry. So I agree that education is the most powerful weapon to change anyone. Then I came across the Latin word for education, which is educare, to mold and to train. And it dawned on me that this is the work of a parent. That is what parenting is about. You are training your children. You train them on different things. You do potty training. You train them how to sit. You give them support. That is what education is about. You train them on manners, values, character. Everything is through training. You are molding your child. And I believe as a parent, you have a desired future for your child, which is education. You can use education to train. And I believe you will not want to outsource all that to a school. You don't want to assert all your influence to a school where you have a desired way. So what you ought to do is to get a school that aligns with your values. Is to get a school that you align with their values and to partner with them. You are the one that's supposed to be cutting the shot. So don't say, it's the school that taught him. No, you are your child's first teacher. You should know that as a parent, you are your child's first teacher. You cannot throw it away. The Bible said that train up a child in the way he should go. That means there's a way the child should go. That means that's why that expectation is in your hand. You want to see a child that is wholesome, a child that is a success. You must partner with the school, not just partnering doing homework. No, you must partner in shaping their character, their personalities. That is what. But I must say this: there are different ways we can support and augment our children's education. However, it depends on the age, it depends on the learning style, and it depends on the interest of the child. But today, I'll give some general guidelines, some general tips on how we can augment our children's education, how we can support our children's education. The first one I will say is that one way to support your child to augment in their education is to read. You have to read aloud to them. You have to encourage reading in your children. You have to inculcate the habit of reading in your children. You can start as early as possible. Some people who started when the children were in their womb. So no child is too young. From birth to university, you can read to them. Reading have a way to help your child in life, help your child in school. The benefits of reading cannot be overemphasized. I can't start atomizing the benefits, but you should know that it has a lot of benefit in your child. Through reading, your child can develop language skill, your child can develop comprehension skill, your child can develop critical thinking skill, and even character development. You can use reading to inculcate it. So why don't you go ahead and start reading with your children, start reading aloud to them. And why don't you can get a mini library in the home and pick books to read to them. As you read with them, as you read aloud to them, you can have a discussion about the character of the books, the characters of the book, the story, and the lesson learned. As you discuss it with them, you are stimulating some things. You can also ask questions to stimulate their curiosity. Oh, what do you think will happen next? Oh, why did this so and so character acted like this? By doing that, you are interacting with your child, you are bonding with your child, and you are stimulating the child's curiosity. Whenever the child is reading alone, the child start asking questions of what, why, when, as they are reading alone. That is a good skill to give to your child. The next point I will say is that I will say expose them to different experiences. Education is not only at school. Learning takes place everywhere. It doesn't happen only in the school. It happens at home, on the street, in church, everywhere. Learning is taking place. So what are you supposed to do? Since you know that you can take advantage of teaching your child, and your child can take advantage of learning at any time, anywhere in the world, what can you do? What I will say is that find out what they are learning in school and see how you can give them the resources, the experience of what they are learning. So taking what they're learning in school and giving them a real life experience of that thing. Let the education be applicable to real life. So that's your work as a parent. Let me give an example. Maybe you found out that your child, they are learning farm animals in the school. Take them to the farm. Let them interact with the farm animals. Let them interact with the workers. Let them see how it functions. It will become so real for them to be an everyday life. So they will know that education is not something abstract. It's something they can relate with. It's something they can handle. It's something they can work with. It's very important. What if they're learning about wild animals? Take them to the zoo. You can take them to galleries, you can take them to historical sites, you can take them to cultural events, you can take them to galleries, the parks. Learning is going on everywhere. I believe you will take advantage of this after that, because you know everything can be applied to real life. Or let's say your child is learning how to quantify in school. You can bring that to the home, to the kitchen. You can say, okay, can you give me 3 oranges there? Or can you give me 2 seasoning, 2 cubes of the seasoning, please? You just teach them how to quantify. Or are they doing letter writing? Anything, just bring it to real life. Then I must say another thing concerning exposing them to different experiences and knowing what they are learning in school. Let's say you find out that there are some, after asking questions or information getting to it, that there are some activities that they are doing in school that is not in line with your values, is not in line with your faith. I will say, don't let them participate. It's very important. Let me give you an example. Let's say they have a movie now. I know of a parent then that if they have a movie day, she will find out from the school what is the title of the movie. She will do a research about the movie. If the values of the movie and the characters are in line with our values, the children will go. If not, the children are not going for movie day. I heard of people, schools now doing a gender swap dressing day. You can imagine gender swap day. That means a man will dress like a woman will dress like a man. It might look subtle, but they have a plan. It's very key to the destiny of those children. So if you are deliberate as a parent, if you are intentional about your child's overall well-being, about how your child turns out, you wouldn't want to let your child participate in that. So what do? Your child wouldn't go to school that day. If there are other things they are doing in school that is very important, you can tell your child you have to dress normally and discuss with the school management that my child won't get involved with this because of my faith. So she will dress neutral, just the way she ought to dress. Then if not, she should stay at home on that day. Nobody is going to penalize her for that. That is giving your child good experiences, not bad experiences. I believe that we've gotten that. Just to mention, when picking books, you must pick books of different topics, different different level, and you must scrutinize the book. Now you see different books, people trying to hide different things in it, because education, both good and bad people can use it. What they are after is the influence over the child. So you as a parent, you must be deliberate. So when picking books, when choosing movies they show us, just be critical, be deliberate, that is in line with your values. Another thing I would say is that regulate their digital use. We all know that digital devices can be a great tool. When I say digital devices, now it can be a great tool for educating the child. However, it can also be a distraction. We know a lot of things that you can do with digital devices. However, it can also be a distraction to the child's education. As a parent, what do you do to be able to check that so that your child wouldn't lose that? I would say monitor their use of the internet, monitor their use of TV, monitor their use of video games, or online activities should be monitored by you. There are different ways you can monitor it now. Just find out what they are doing there. And also, reduce screen time. This is very important. Too much of screen can be addictive to children. It has a lot of disadvantage of the child, even though we know it has benefits. Hence, we are not ruling it out. We are saying that monitor it, regulate it, reduce it. But I must say, reduced screen time will not be possible if you don't give alternative activities to screen activities. You must give the child activities that are screen free. You can can get indoor games, you can do outdoor games, you can get resources, art supplies that they can use to work outside the screen. The day they are not the period they are not watching, they are not using the screen, they should have other activities to work with. If not, it will be hectic on you to reduce their screen time. I know ZOB have a compilation of screen-free activities that you can do with children. You can reach out to her to get that. You will see a lot of activities that you can do with your children of different ages. Get it and regulate your children's screen time. Then I would say teach them how they can use digital devices for their advantage, how they can use it for research, how they can use it to create things that will be profitable to them and people around them, even to their peers. You have to tell them, you have to tell them, you have to let them learn how to use digital devices for their advantage. They can use it to learn a skill. So they must be deliberate about this. As parents, you must be. The next thing I would say is that take advantage of teachable moments. You might want to understand what a teachable moment. I would say teachable moments are opportunity where the child can learn easily. It might be as a result of a question, it can be as a result of a conversation, it can be as a result of a situation, an experience, or an activity. So you just capitalize on that teachable moment and teach the child. Why? Because the child is interested in that activity. Or maybe the child is the one who asked the question, so the child is interested. As the child is interested, the child will be all ears to learn. The child wouldn't know that you are trying to teach something, but you know what you want to teach. You are just pushing it in. Let me give you an example of places of how teachable moments can happen. It can happen when you're watching the television. It can happen in the kitchen. It can happen when they come to ask you questions. It can happen when they make a mistake. So I would say, let's say, for instance, you're watching television, whether news or a movie, a headline just popped up. Oh, he found 20 million and he returned it. So and so happened. Or you just say, oh, that's a big, this man is so good, whatever. Capitalize on that to teach your children about honesty and integrity. Let them know that, let them know that this skill is name the character, name the trait, the value that person display, integrity, honesty, and look at the way it turned out. Then you can now tell them how they can apply it to their own life. I don't know if you get me. Then if it's a movie, you can look at the different characters in the movie and tell them, or you can now ask the question, did you see what that character did? That was awesome. Oh, this is what, that is not good. That is not in line with our family values. You must not lie. Even if you know you are not going to be caught, you don't have to lie. Even if you know that you are going to be punished, it's better you say the truth and God will be happy with you. These are ways you can take advantage of teachable moments. Or let's say, for instance, the child made a mistake. Instead of ranting, instead of shouting, take advantage of that moment to teach the child a skill, or to teach the child what the child is lacking. So it might be, for instance, that the child spill water. Instead of saying that, I've told you not to be spilling water, sorry, ranting, let them know that, you know what, sometimes, no matter what you do, mistakes are inevitable. However, mistakes ought to be corrected, not ignored. So what do you think we should do to this water now? We should mop it. So go and get the mop and mop it. You have used that moment to teach the child that when there's a spill, you have to mop it so that nobody will sleep on that floor, because you can sleep someone. Or you say, okay, let me show you how to carry your cup, how to handle your cup meticulously, or how to walk gracefully when you are holding something in your hand. So you've capitalized on that moment to teach the child a particular skill. Or it might be it might be a preteen or a teen. Maybe he just looked at an adult somehow, or he responded to an adult somehow. Instead of shouting, ranting, who gave birth to you? Am I the one that gave birth? How can you talk like that? How can you look at him like that? Just calm down, call the child. You know what? I just saw the way you looked at that woman now, or I saw the way you respond to that lady. That is not nice. This is how you are supposed to respond to the child, to the lady. So go and correct your mistake. So you tell the child, this is how you respond. The child goes, apologize to the woman. And next time, the child will know how to respond to people that just bluffing or giving a rude look. You have taught the child. If you just shout around, the child will not learn the lesson. So as parents, we think of this aspect and capitalize on teachable moment. Then I would say, support your child's passion, support your child's interest. That is one way you can augment their education. You can help them to excel in school, because most of the skills they learn from their passion. It's applicable in school. If a child is interested in something, you see the child will give all his attention. The child will learn concentration. The child will learn some other skills that will be applicable in school. So why don't you take advantage, observe what their passions are or what their interests are, and give them tools, give them resources, experiences to sharpen the skill for that particular passion. By doing that, you are helping the child sharpen other skills, because skills are intertwined. A skill that you use for painting today might be needed in architecture tomorrow. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about by supporting your child's passion and interest. Let's say your child is interested in what I call let's say music, or your child is interested in art. Get them art supplies. Get them. You can enroll them in art classes, art lessons, and when it's time, or let's say you have opportunity to go for an art exhibition, go along with them. By so doing, you are sharpening the child's skill in that art. If it's music, get them a musical instrument. Enroll them in music classes. If there's a musical concert, go with their concerts. Go with them. It's very important. By so doing, your child will get interested, will learn some skill. It might be concentration skill that the child is lacking. It might be for the child to be able to learn doing things calculatively or meticulously. The child is getting it from there. But I must warn you, children under 17 years, their passion, their interest change from time to time. So don't be discouraged. Don't say maybe your child said he or she is interested in sewing. Now it's not interested in music. Don't say, I just got to a musical, I just got to a sewing machine like 3 months ago. Now you're not saying it's music. If you have the means, please do it for them. What you're doing, you are trying to broaden their horizon. You are trying to stimulate and inspire their creativity. So get all this. Like I said before, skills are intertwined. What they need in sewing, now those meticulous way of measuring, doing things, they might need it in something else in school, in another subject in school. When you expose them to this, you might ignite the passion for other experiences. So I would say, get them, don't be tired. Then for the very young ones that you don't yet know their passion, I would say create a learning station. What do I mean by a learning station? I will explain. So the essence of creating this learning station is to stimulate independent learning, that the natural desire for the child to learn, and for you to be able to stimulate different interests in the child. So in future, the child will have a lot of things to work on. So you can get learning stations like in your home, a place that you carve out for pretend play. You say this is a pretend play zone. So you get used clothes, you get kitchen utensils and put them. Even a lawyer's wig, you put it there, doctor's kit, everything, just put it there. Things that they can explore. They can do pretend play over. Maybe they'll say, okay, they want to do dressing. They want to pretend like a doctor, nurse, or a teacher, a mom, anything. Just put it there that they can use as a thing. Then the next learning station you can create is called exploration zone. Things that they can explore. You can get sand, you can get Play-Doh, you can get seashell, you get things, natural things, and you get things like pipe, building block, 2 boxes that you can put around that they can explore. You can even get building block that they can mold, different things, clay, just put it in that part so for them to explore. Another suggestion of a learning station I can say is let's call it recycling zone, where you put use containers, like empty containers, empty boxes, use mastic, different things that you use that is empty, just put them for them to recycle it. You'll be amazed at what they can use it to create. So just give them this for them to be able to bring out the innate desire in them. They are learning different skills and they are building on their creativity. So do I still have more time? Okay, I will say that what you can do, Teach them how to set learning goals. This is very important. You must teach your children how to set learning goals. So don't. So when you hear a child saying setting a goal and say, "Oh, I want to come out first in class. I want to be the best in mathematics." That is not a smart learning goal. And you let them know that no, that's not how to set goal. You are not competing with anybody. You are your own competitor. So instead of saying I want to come out first in class, say that I want my overall scores to be 90, my average mark to be 90 or 100%, or I want to score 90 in mathematics this year, or I want, before the end of this term, I want to write a book, so I want to improve my writing skill. Or you can say I want to learn an instrument before the end of this term. These are learning goals, so they don't capitalize on saying as if they are competing with somebody. As you are saying, they have to make good, that they will know that they are benchmarking against themselves, they are competing against themselves. They want to bring out the best in them, not in relation to someone else in the class. So that's how to teach them how to set learning goals. And you parents too, you can show a good example by maybe while checking their results. Don't focus on position. Don't focus on A and B. Because why? When you focus on that, the children will be struggling to come out first. Sometimes somebody that came out 10th in class might even have higher scores than somebody that came out first in another class. Let me explain. Let's say this person came out 10th in class now, and all the courses you can see A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B in the courses. You should know that child is good. Or so a child just came out first, and looking at the score of the child is C, D, E, and he came out first. You should know that it's because of the people in the class. That's why this child is coming out first. So don't look at position, don't look at look at the scores. Oh, if you want to, you not say, okay, now I can see that although you came out 10th, I can see that you have A here, you have B here, you have C here. So this one you have A and B. We have to work on it. So you have to work on it. So you look at each scores for each subject instead of looking at overall position and reducing your child's what appetite or your child passion to long for more, to long for a greater height. So and that one that came out first and his own is 30, 40, 50. If you say, hey, you came out first, what? You are not maximizing the child's potential. So that's why we need to look at our children's scores instead of position. I believe that we're all following. I'm trying to work with time. Hope I'm not too fast. Okay, I can see some people are following. Teach your child. So now I will say teach them life skill. There are a lot of life skill you can teach your children. Teach them how to cook, teach them personal grooming, teach them financial management, teach them conflict resolution, teach them how they can manage their emotions, teach them how they can relate with people, teach them decision making. There are a lot of life skills that will help your children in school and in life as large. So, and I believe you will want to do that. If you don't know how to go about it, like this, I have a YouTube channel, Montessori Matters with Blessing 40K. You can check that. I've discussed some of these topics on how you can teach children these different skills and character. So the next thing I would say is that don't keep their curiosity, answer their questions, expose them to different places. So that is all for now. But I will say one thing. Somebody might be wondering, I just have to say this. Somebody might be wondering, how do I go about this? I'm a very busy mom. I'm a very busy dad. I don't have time. I will say create structure, make routines, make schedules into it, because when you create a structure, it will be useful not only for one of the first child, it will be useful for the other child. So it's better you start it with the first one. As the other ones come, they just form into it. So it will not be stress for you. It will not be stress for the family and the children. Let me give an example of a house. A house is a structure. A landlord built it. So a tenant can come and go. Once it goes, another tenant will come in. That's one of the benefits of structure. Is always there. One of the benefits of setting routines, boundaries in the home is that it will cover up for the whole family. You can say, okay, every morning before we go to school, we can read for 5 minutes. As little as that, as you do it consistently, it becomes a habit. The day you are not reading, the child will ask you. From there, you can now increase it to 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. If you are the one that have the opportunity to do school run with your children, you can do a lot of things in the school, in the car while going to and fro school, going to drop them and going to pick them back from school. You can do character training, you can do discussions, you can find out what they're doing in school. Or even if you have the very young ones, during bathing time, you can teach them, you can do sex education, you can do affirmation, a lot of things that you can do. What about the weekends, Saturdays, Sundays? What are you doing? You can just create that time. It mustn't be too cumbersome. You can just create the time. Oh, it mustn't be for 1 hour, 2 hours. You can just say 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or before bedtime. We do that. What about the long vacation? I have a parent that she scheduled her leave time during the long vacation so she can have time with the children. So if you are not doing full schooling, you are not with your children, you should plan, you should take advantage of this structure that I just mentioned now to create time for your children, to create time with your children, to bond with them. As you are doing these things with them, you are bonding with them. You are trying to put your influence on them. You have an amount of influence on them. You are not just giving everything to school. I will stop here, Z. I know Z is out now to reduce.
Thank you so much, Ma. We are so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anytime we call on you, you are always ready to answer. Thank you once again for sharing your insight with us today. I can't see any questions, so I will ask my question. Now, the question is, I'm a mom and my child is always crying anytime it's time to read. Is either come, let me read for you, or I give her books for her to read and she goes on crying, crying, crying. What can I do?
No, okay, so I would say it depends on the age of the child. So for the very young ones,
5.
Yeah, 5.
5.
Okay, so 5 years. Okay, I would say for the very, it can be two things. Maybe the child has not perfected his reading, so giving him or her book to read alone might be too overwhelming. So you have to do the reading. So maybe the child is not just interested, probably because you didn't start on time. So now what you can do, you can just find out, you can allow the child to be within the vicinity of the child. The child don't have to sit. You can just start reading to the child, just reading aloud. You will think the child is internalizing, especially children between 0 to 6 years. They internalize things. You might think they're not listening, they're not getting, but since it's in their environment, they will absorb it into their subconscious mind. So keep reading to them, whether they are sitting or not. I know of a friend that said that he used to back his toddler to read to him because he cannot sit. Now the boy is so he loves reading like something else. So you can do that. These are ways you can do. Read to them. Just let reading be in the environment. Let them model reading. Let them see you read. And sometimes you can tell them about the storyline of what you are reading. It can be your Bible, it can be a book. Just tell them what you are reading. Get them interested. Read it aloud. Sometimes they might just want you to carry them. Sometimes they might just want you to just pet them for them to read. If you have done that and they are not still reading, just begin to read it into the environment, into their hearing. I believe with time they will get interested.
All right, thank you once again. Thank you so very much. So our next speaker will come up just shortly. We're going to go for a short break and come back at 5 o'clock. And so we're going to have 5 to 6. Then we're going to have a long break from 6 to 7 and commence 7 to 8 and 8 to 9. Yes, we want to give you value back to back. Okay, so now we'll be leaving now. Our next speaker will be Mrs. Dr. Lola Okewo. Dr. Lola Okewo. All right, so you don't want to miss that. She's going to be talking about how we can navigate, how we can navigate through unfamiliar, difficult seasons and also difficult cultures. You agree with me today? So many things are changing. So if you want to up your game against what is going on, you want to stay tuned and listen to her. All right. Don't forget to invite someone, get someone in, share the link, get someone in, and also share the nuggets Mrs. Blessing 40K has shared with us. Share put the hashtag Train Up a Child Conference, Train Up a Child Community hashtag, and you can also tag me to those quotes. Thank you once again, and see you soon. Thank you, Ma.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.